Hello, hi, hey, and what is going on? This is Cody, and you are tuned in to B-Boy 45, broadcasting from the Seacrest Studios. I've got my friend Maya here, and it is another special edition of the latest news to keep you in the groove. Maya, why is today's edition so special?
Because Anthony Carrigan is calling in.
Anthony Carrigan, welcome!
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you. It's great to be here.
Well, we are so glad to have you. Maya, take it away.
Okay, so first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for calling in. I've been so excited to talk with you.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm super excited too. I'm thrilled to be here. So yeah, excited to dive in.
So my first question for you is who or what inspired you to become an actor?
You know, that's a great question. I think honestly, it was probably my dad. My dad was an actor, actually. He did mostly regional theater stuff, but I remember even just as a very young kid, him coming home in costume sometimes and just being really weirded out, being like, who is this guy? Who's this guy in my house? And then him taking off the costume and just being floored, you know, by this disguise that he would have on. I would also go visit him when he was doing rehearsals, and I think I got to know the magic of the theater pretty early on, and that was a really special thing for me. So yeah, because I was just like a very shy kid growing up, and the theater for me was an opportunity to, I don't know, just express myself in a way that I never really could before. I was always pretty quiet, kept to myself, never wanted to make eye contact. But when I got on stage, I felt like I could start to be myself. And my dad was a huge part of that. So I'm very grateful to my dad for opening me up to the theater and acting in general.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you guest starred in a couple episodes of The Flash, which is one of my favorite shows, or which is one of my favorite shows. What was the best part about playing a villain?
Let me see. It's weirdly so much fun to play the bad guy. I mean, it's, you know, I think what's fun is you know, you just get to you get to put yourself, you know, obviously outside of yourself and be like, well, I have nothing in common with, you know, this guy who wants to destroy the Flash and, you know, has these superpowers, but you start to think, well, why is this guy so angry, and what's making him tick? So it's a good exercise in kind of just learning more about people and the way they think. But honestly, I think probably the coolest thing was you know, getting to have these crazy action sequences with Grant Gustin and doing all of these just amazing scenes where we got to, you know, go head to head and really, I don't know, it was just like the production value on that show was so wonderful. Everyone's so sweet. Everyone's so nice. So it's really funny to kind of be a villain 1 second, and then when they yell cut, to then just be like just a couple of normal dudes just hanging out, you know, just trying to stay awake at 3 a.m, you know, trying to finish the scene.
So you've been in so many things, including the movies Bill and Ted Face the Music and Fatherhood, and I know you were also in a few episodes of the show Parenthood. Have you had a favorite project or role that you've had?
Oh, that's a good question. You know, I think each of my roles, each of the things that I've done, I kind of love for different reasons. Some of them, you know, more rewarding than others, but pretty much all of them have been like an opportunity for me to, I don't know, try something new and try something different and see what sticks. I mean, you brought up the role of from Bill and Ted Face the Music, where I played this again, kind of a bad guy, but like also kind of like a hilarious, totally harmless, like supposedly killer robot. And what was amazing about that was that, you know, it was a real kind of lesson in just having confidence, right? Because I was, you know, reading for a different part, and then they came to me and they said, well, that part's not available, but, you know, if you would like to play this robot character, you know, you can just do it. And I was really nervous at first because I was like, well, they've never seen me do a robot character. They have no idea what I could come in with. And you know, at first I was filled with all sorts of doubts and wondering, like, am I going to be good enough in this role? Am I going to actually, you know, do something that's worthwhile? And, you know, it kind of freaked me out because I didn't know if what they were going to see, they weren't going to like. So I was very, very nervous about that. But I just remembered they hired me for a reason. I just got to have confidence. I got to trust myself. And most importantly, I got to have fun. And I did each of those things, and I was really happy with the results. I ended up kind of coming up with this really fun, kind of like absurd character who was like basically as harmless as a puppy dog, and was kind of very much like a puppy dog. In fact, like he would just follow Bill and Ted around, like wagging his tail, essentially. But yeah, so that was, you know, that was a really kind of wonderful learning experience for me. And each of the roles that I've done, you know, they've kind of opened my eyes up to, you know, to a different challenge. And after each one, I feel like, you know, a little bit more confident, a little bit more like, okay, I tried something, and you know, what's next? Like, what can I try next?
Oh, cool. Yeah. So you currently play NoHo Hank and Barry, and I love this show, and I love Hank. I think he's hilarious. Is it challenging to not break character during your scenes because they're just so funny?
Yes, that is yes in all caps. It is the hardest thing to get through a scene without laughing, honestly. And most of the time, we just end up cracking up on set because it's just too hard. It's too funny, and you can't keep it together. But you know, again, it's you gotta really try hard. You gotta make sure that you do get at least one take of it, because if you don't, then you don't really have a television show. But again, that's another really fun character that I got to, you know, build kind of from the ground up and really try something with, you know, really take a big risk. And I'm happy I did, because I'm having so much fun, and the character's weird and totally different, but I'm having such a good time. It's been a blast.
Oh, cool. Yeah. What is your favorite thing about being on Barry?
My favorite thing about being on Barry, I think, is the fact that I get to, you know, in one scene, in the same scene, I get to be, you know, I get to do really funny stuff, you know, where I get to just play around and be super goofy. And then in that same scene, it can also be really dramatic and very intense. And I like that there's, you know, I like that there can be both, right, at the same time. And I think Barry does a great job of kind of balancing each of those things, because it's not easy. It's not easy to kind of, you know, go from being very lighthearted and upbeat to then being very intense and having people just, you know, totally sucked in and serious. But I would say that's probably my favorite thing. That, and also working with Bill Hader. He's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah. So if you had to wake up to one song every morning, what song would it be?
That's a good one. I mean, it's funny because, you know what? Like, a song just immediately popped into my head. And I think it's called "Getting Better" by the Beatles. You know, it's like getting better all the time. Which, yeah, I think, I don't know why, it just kind of pops into my head. So, yeah, sure. I guess that one. Yeah, that's off the top of my head. I mean, but in terms of music in general, I mean, I love like Led Zeppelin. I love I love tons of people. I mean, I just saw Nine Inch Nails. They were awesome. Yeah, I'm always up for finding new music. But yeah, I think if it were that song, I'd be totally happy with it. It's really upbeat. It makes me happy. It makes me kind of, you know, in a positive mood. So yeah, that one probably.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So if your life was turned into a Broadway musical, what would it be called and who would play you?
Wow. Okay. That is a great question.
Thank you.
Let's see. If my life were a Broadway musical, what would it be called? Well, I think it would be called Smooth Criminal, because I have alopecia, so I have, you know, no hair. So I'm, you know, very smooth to touch. And I play a lot of criminals, so I'm guessing Smooth Criminal might be the musical. And as far as like who would play me, I don't know. I mean, I think like, yeah, it would probably require someone who's either bald or be willing to kind of shave their head. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe, let's just say, you know, it would be kind of hilarious just because, like, sure, Hugh Jackman, because he's, you know, the guy does so much amazing stage stuff. It's like, he's like way more ripped than me, but I'm okay with that. I'm fine with Hugh Jackman playing me. That's okay. I would be totally fine with that. So Hugh Jackman starring in Smooth Criminal, opening, you know, opening on Broadway, starting in November.
I love that. So is there a show that you're currently binge watching?
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, okay. So the shows that I'm watching right now, I'm not able to binge because I'm watching them week to week, but I'm watching the new Lord of the Rings show. I'm watching the new Game of Thrones show, House of the Dragon, but let me see, what have I binged recently? I think the last thing that I binged was probably Stranger Things. I just went through all of it. It was, yeah, so good.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Yeah, right now I'm binge watching Night Court and You're the Worst.
Night Court? Oh my God,
yes.
Like Night Court from back in the 80s?
Yeah.
Oh my God, with Bull, the tall bald dude?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember watching Night Court like all the way back in the day. I'm totally aging myself, but like, that's amazing. You're watching Night Court. That's so funny. Oh my God. Yeah, I love that show.
Yeah.
Wow, where are you watching it on? I have to give that a watch now.
It's on this free app called Freevee.
Freevee. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
I had never heard of it until I was looking up where to watch Night Court.
I really need to watch that now. That's amazing. I don't think I've watched an episode since like 1991. So yeah, Night Court. That's definitely gonna be on my list. Probably binge like however many seasons they had. That's amazing though. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's available on Amazon Prime through Freevee.
Oh, cool. All right.
So,
I'll have to check that. I'll have to check that out. I love dipping into the kind of like super retro TV shows as well. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, it's like, I'll just be like, let's watch an episode of Saved by the Bell, just to get like, just to be reminded of, of like growing up and everything.
Yeah. Well, I know they're making a sequel to Night Court. And so when I heard about that, I was like, I have to watch the original so I know.
Yeah. Oh my, absolutely. That sounds incredible. I had no idea they're making a sequel to Night Court, but like, I think it's a great idea. I mean, it's, everyone loves a good kind of like courtroom drama. So why not like a courtroom comedy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, totally. We'll see. Maybe I'll call my agent and be like, hey, has the part of Bull been cast yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And if it happens, then it started all right here,
Yes.
And I'll be like, Maya, thank you for getting me that job. Like, big ups to you. Thank you.
So that's currently like my go-to show when I just need to laugh, and like if I'm like really stressed about something or having a lot of anxiety, that's the show I go to right now.
Totally. Yeah. The show that I was going to when I was like getting super stressed, or even if I was watching something that was just super intense and I needed kind of a palate cleanser, is I would watch this show on Netflix called Old Enough, which is about these like Japanese kids who are like, I mean, they're young. They're like 3, 4, 5. And it's like, they're kind of behind the scenes, kind of filming them doing their first real kind of like running an errand for their parents. So it's like they have to go to like the grocery store, or they have to like go to the grocery store and then go to their grandparents and then swing by and then pick something up, from the cafe. And they all, and it's kind of amazing watching them try and figure it out because they're so little and it's amazing. So yeah. So like Old Enough is a super, super fun show to watch.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
And the episodes are like 15 minutes long too. So it's great.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've heard of that show. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
Totally. Yeah, so it's like I would be watching like 5 episodes of Stranger Things, and I'd be like, this is too intense. Like, it's time to watch some like kid like go to the fish market and like, try to like lug back like a 10-pound fish, and just fail miserably. But like try its hardest.
Yeah. So, what movie do you always recommend when someone asks what they should watch?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I mean, I think I'm kind of a sucker for the classics. I mean, I love, The Godfather. I mean, but I'm also like, I love, sci-fi and fantasy stuff. That's kind of what I grew up on. So if people haven't seen the original Star Wars, I'm like, please just do it. Just start there. But I also love like The Never-Ending Story, The Dark Crystal. I'm huge into kind of, Labyrinth. I love all like the Jim Henson stuff. And I thought it was so wildly creative and so off the wall. And so I love that stuff. That's my kind of personal favorite, Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So is there a show that you always recommend?
Is there a show I always recommend? Barry on HBO. No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, it's funny because actually, like, I do really love Barry. It is a great show, and it's really smart. Obviously, it's like very, it's very intense, and you definitely have to be a certain age to watch it. But what other show would I recommend? I mean, I think, gosh, the show that I would recommend the most to people would probably be let's see. Honestly, I mean, it's so funny because I've been watching so much like awful, like trashy reality television too. So that's getting like mixed in there as well. I'm trying to think. Yeah, so it's like the scripted versus unscripted battle is being waged in my head right now, because I'm like, on the one hand, you could kind of do like whatever Stranger Things, which I loved. I thought it was great. Or on the other hand, I love just like zoning out to watching like The Deadliest Catch, or like Ice Road Truckers, or it's God, that's a tough one. What about you? What show do you always recommend to people when people ask you?
There's a couple. There's The Rookie.
The Rookie? Nice.
There's like, The Rookie and A Million Little Things and The Neighborhood, I think, are like my three that I always recommend to people.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah. Those are awesome.
And Barry also.
And Barry, well, thank you. I appreciate you passing along the word. That's great. Oh, you know what? Pen 15, I also loved too. Pen 15 was super, super fun and really smart and very funny. Yeah. So definitely check that out if you haven't already.
Cool. Yeah. And then for like just an older show, even though everybody's basically seen it, I always say Will and Grace. That's my
Will and Grace. Yeah, classic.
That's like one of my go-tos for when I just need to laugh.
Absolutely. Yeah, Will and Grace is, it's classic. I mean, it's amazing. Such an amazing cast too. Everyone is so funny. It was kind of, that was like that sweet spot, like golden age of comedy right there, in the 90s and early 2000s. So it was, Will and Grace, classic one. Totally.
Yeah. Okay, now that you've asked me, I'm thinking of all these different shows.
Yeah, I know. It's like, exactly. I know. Once you really kind of start thinking about it, it's like the floodgates are then opened.
Yeah. There's another show with Eric McCormack, who was in Will and Grace, that this one is also older, but it's called Perception.
Cool.
And that's
all right.
Another one of my go-to shows. It's very different from Will and Grace. It's not a comedy, but there's some humor in it. And so it's one of my go-tos.
Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, it's always fun to see when actors can kind of show their range, and do something kind of totally different from what they're well known for. It's funny. What just popped into my head was What We Do in the Shadows, which I love. I love that. And I actually got to meet some of those people at the Emmys just recently. So that was really cool. That was really cool just to be able to meet some amazing people who I've, who make me laugh and just, get to say hi to them.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah. The movie What We Do in the Shadows is one of my family's favorite movies. We all love that movie. And then, the show is so good.
Oh, yeah, it's so good. It's so funny. Yeah, I laughed so hard at that show. It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. So what is your favorite thing to do when you're feeling down that lifts you up?
Wow, that's a great question. I think when I'm feeling down, I like to go rock climbing, in a gym, which is, nice and kind of controlled environment. It's a little too scary for me to go outside to climb. I have done it, but it's a little intense. So I do like to climb, and, because when you're up there on the wall, you're kind of figuring things out, but you're not really thinking about anything. You're actually just kind of focusing on the task at hand. Another thing I love to do is I love to just read a good book and just kind of disappear into a different world. And it's a different thing than watching a movie. It's like, it's a movie that you're kind of directing and watching at the same time. So it's kind of a funny thing when you get into a good book that you can kind of just start, it's like you're no longer reading it. You're actually it's just unfolding before you. And before you know it, you've read 50 pages and you're like, what? Like, I just watched this whole story happen. It's kind of funny how your brain works that way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just have 2 more questions for you. So is there a motto or quotation that you live by?
Is there a motto or quotation that I live by? I mean, I think, yeah, let me see. I think, well, obviously, I mean, like, I think just be kind is always a good one, because it just reminds you that, like, everyone's going through their own experience in life, and it's always a good reminder just to make sure that you're always kind of rooted in kindness, and that especially if you're having a frustrating day or you're not necessarily in the best mood, just a little bit of kindness goes a long way, and it can also kind of help lift you out of a bad mood if you're if you decide to be kind to someone else instead of taking on their energy or continuing to just be in a bit of a foul mood. But yeah, aside from be kind, but yeah, I think maybe not necessarily a motto, but just this idea of always kind of choosing to accept yourself.
Yeah.
I think the world we live in is constantly telling you that you need to change, and change this and change that about yourself, and how you can be better, how you can be different, and I think it's so important to just honor who you are truly, and honor what makes you special, what makes you unique, and just celebrate that, because I feel like if everyone did that, then the world would be a much better place.
Yeah, I agree with that. So my last question for you is, who do you consider to be a real life superhero, and why?
Who do I consider to be a real life superhero, and why? Oh, wow. I think the real life superheroes are, I honestly, I think the, especially with the pandemic and everything, I think that it's been everyone who's been working so hard in the hospitals. My mom's a nurse, or she was a nurse, for a long time. And just all those people who are working so hard and giving it their all to take care of people. I think it's just, I think they're honestly the real superheroes. It's a really kind of, special experience to be taken care of by such wonderful people. And I certainly owe a lot to doctors in my life, for sure. So yeah, I would say like low key / high key. Those are like total superheroes in my book.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I just had so much fun talking with you. So thank you. You just made my week.
Oh, thank you so much, Maya. You made my week. It was great talking to you.
You too.
And you both made my week, so yay!
All right. Week made. Nice.
All
Yeah.
right. Well, I know Maya will keep us updated on where we can find you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. And we look forward to catching you on the big screen.
Yeah.
Sounds great. All right, cool. Take care, you guys. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.